We have thought of ourselves perhaps as creatures moving upon this earth, rather helpless, at the mercy of storm and hunger and our enemies. We are to think of ourselves as immortals, dwelling in the light, encompassed and sustained by spiritual powers. The steady effort to hold this thought will awaken dormant and unrealized powers, which will unveil to us the nearness of the eternal.
Namaste, everybody. I'm David Breen from Sharing Yoga and RealLiveYoga.com, back here with another live yoga class tonight. You notice the full moon on the pre-screen there, so I think tonight's a full moon. That's what I heard. And then that full moon picture was taken on October 15th, 2016. The only reason I remember that is because it's my birthday. And I was up in the White Mountains, and I didn't know there was a full moon that weekend, but as I was getting into my tent, boom, there it was, bright as anything. So today's class, or tonight's class, wherever you're at, looks a little bit different because daylight savings time, or whatever we do with changing the clocks, the sun's coming in here, so the sun is going to set as we're doing the class. But I thought we'd begin today with some standing warm-ups. So come with your feet about hip width apart, and then you'll begin to swing the arms back and forth, and keep the knees unlocked, keep the knees bent a little bit as you swing the arms back and forth, and then begin some deeper breathing. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. I'm smiling already, remember last week's show? I have to remind myself to smile, 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 smile. Now take the arms out in front and begin to cross them over and under each other. Good. Always coming back to your breath. Right? No matter where you find yourself in your yoga practice, no matter where you find your mind during your yoga practice, you try to turn your attention, you try to turn your awareness, you try to turn your consciousness back to your breathing. The breath is and back and forth, front to back. The breath is the conduit that connects the mind and the body. That's why we should pay attention to the breath as often as we can. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Then arms come up overhead. Interlace the fingers, press the palms up. Stretch things out nice and long. Straighten your legs, keep your legs straight. Push your hips toward the left and lean toward the right hand side. Breathe deep into the left side of your rib cage. And then come back up. Stay nice and tall, legs are straight. Push your hips toward the right and then lean toward the left hand side and breathe deep. And then come back up tall, deep breath in. Exhale, release the arms down alongside the body. Now, interlace your fingers like this, and you'll just bring the arms side to side. A little bit of a twist. Inhale, exhale. So, I just have a funny feeling tonight. You know we have cats here. I just have a funny feeling tonight that the cats are going to be a part of the show. We're dangerously close to that happening right now. One of them is leaning on one of the studio lights. And if that comes crashing down, you'll be part of the excitement. Careful, buddy. And then release. Take another deep breath in. And deep breath out. Now bring your feet together. Interlace your fingers out back. Begin to squeeze your shoulder blades toward each other. Tighten up your thigh muscles and tighten up your glutes. And then if you can take it a little bit further, pull the hands away from the lower back a little bit. Right, so thighs are tight, glutes are tight, shoulder blades are squeezing, and you're gently drawing the hands away from the back here. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Again, deep inhale. deep exhale. Relax the arms and shoulders. Take your feet now about hip width apart again, hands on the hips, and you'll begin to do some heel raises. Lift the heels up, perhaps on the inhale, and down on the exhale. Inhale, heels up, exhale, down. So we begin to warm up the major joints of the body, little by little, before we go into taking some of those fuller yoga poses and longer holds of those poses. All right, so we begin with the upper part of the thoracic cavity with the shoulders. Now we're working on ankles and calf muscles perhaps. So just pause for a second. Now point your big toes in toward each other. So you're kind of, yeah, that's it. And then a couple more heel raises here. So why do we do? Why do we have to point our toes in toward each other? Because it works different muscles, that's why. There you go. And right when your calf muscles begin to fatigue, squeeze out 2 or 3 more. There it is. And release. Straighten the legs out here. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Feet come a little bit wider apart. Bring the hands out in front like this and inhale. Then as you exhale, squat down like this. Inhale, come up. Exhale, come down. So don't look at me anymore. Drop your head and look at your own knees and see that the knees track the same width as the feet, right? You don't want the knees buckling in and you don't want the knees splaying out. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. And come up and release the arms. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Now interlace the fingers again. This time stretch the arms way out in front. Good. I'm going to turn to the side so you can get a good look at this. So my wrists are separated apart. And you're going to inhale the hands up overhead. Exhale the hands down in front. Inhale the arms up. Exhale hands down. Good. Let's try 4 more. Release. Shake out your arms and bend your knees a couple of times. So today I thought we would take a little bit deeper look at sun salutations. We'll try both sun salutations, A and B. We won't do C and D today. We'll just focus on A and B. So sun salutations are a little bit of a mini routine that you can go through, and you connect movement and breath together. And then once you've got it memorized, the idea is that you do it over and over and over, and you become more proficient at it. You become stronger, you become a little bit more flexible, and it's a great routine that you can do pretty much anytime, anywhere. So bring your feet together for me, please. And then we'll go through a couple of sun salutation A's, and then break it down pose by pose, and then a couple of sun salutation B's and break that down pose by pose. So when you're ready, inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold forward and down. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step back and lower down. Inhale, come into upward facing dog or cobra. And then as you exhale, come up and back into down dog. When you get to down dog, just allow your heels to relax toward the floor. You're looking at your feet, and you're gently pushing your hips back a little bit more. Breathe deep. So after a count of 5 here, bend the knees, look forward, and exhale. Inhale, walk your feet forward, feet are together. Fold and relax. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, hands down through heart center. One more time, that's one complete cycle. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward, come halfway up. Exhale, step back and lower down. Inhale to upward facing dog or cobra. I'm in up dog. And then exhale up and back to downward facing dog. And again, somewhat of an upside down V position. Deep inhale, deep exhale. And then bend the knees and look forward. Inhale, walk your feet forward, feet are together. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Good. So that's sun salutation A. If that was doable, then I would encourage you to do a half a dozen of them or a dozen of them every day or anytime you can practice. If it's challenging, just stick with trying to do one or two a day until you build up a little bit more strength and flexibility. So let's take a look at the postures that make up sun salutation A. First one is a version of mountain pose with the arms up overhead. So it's an inhale and coming up. So if you had time here and you wanted to hang out in this pose, you could turn it into a little bit of a back bend, engaging the thighs and the glutes, pressing the hips forward and arching back a little bit, and then lengthening through the entire body by pressing down into the feet and then lengthening up into the arms. Second pose is a forward bend. So we come all the way down into a forward bend here. So if your back is a little tender, you might bend your knees. Try to relax your head. But little by little, the more time we spend in the forward bend, it'll loosen up the muscles in the back of the legs and in the lower part of the back. And then the third position technically is Chaturanga Dandasana, which is halfway down push-up. So as I'm exhaling, I'm stepping back and I'm lowering down. There's the pose right there. And then when you come down, the next pose is upward facing dog. So I have a little bend in the elbows, pressing into the hands, and then eventually, once I get enough strength and flexibility, I engage the glutes and the thighs, and I'm up on the tops of the feet and the palms of the hands here. And then from here, I can drop the knees to the floor and point the toes and come into downward facing dog, or roll right up over those toes and then readjust my stance here. So now I'm in down dog, palms of the hands are flat. Little by little, the legs are straightening, the thighs are engaging, and I'm pressing those hips back that way to get deeper into the pose. And then you're going to bend the knees and look forward, walk the feet forward, and then we're in that forward bend again. And then back up with the arms overhead, and then hands come down here. Good. So you could do it like I did it the first two times. Movement and breath connected, right? Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale, look forward, exhale, move back. Inhale, up dog, exhale to down dog. Pause in down dog for a count of 5 or 5 breaths, and then move forward and move out of it. Or you could spend time in each pose, right? You could hang out in mountain for a few breaths. You could hang out in that forward bend or upward facing dog for a few breaths. Let's take a look at B. Sun salutation B, we're going to add 2 things in. We're going to add in Utkatasana or fierce pose or thunderbolt pose, and then we're going to add in warrior 1. So it happens kind of quickly. Again, it's movement and breath connected. We'll go through it twice, and then I'll talk about how we'll break down each pose. So once again, the feet are together, close together. Inhale, bend your knees, sweep the arms up. Exhale, straighten the legs, fold forward and down. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step back and lower down. Inhale to upward facing dog or cobra, and exhale up and back to down dog. Now look forward. Right foot steps forward, flatten the left foot. Inhale the arms up to warrior 1. Exhale the hands down to the floor. Step back and lower down. Inhale to upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale up and back to down dog. Left foot steps forward, right foot flat. Inhale the arms up overhead. Follow the exhale. Hands come down. Step back, lower down. Inhale to up dog or cobra. exhale, up and back to down dog. Here's where we'll take a count of 5 or 5 breaths. Legs are straight. Push the hips back and breathe. Now bend your knees and look forward. Inhale, feet come forward. Feet are together. Fold and relax. Bend the knees. Inhale, sweep the arms out in front and up overhead. And then exhale, straighten the legs. Hands to heart center. Good. Let's try another one. I'll do it a little bit slower. Inhale, bend the knees. Arms come up. Exhale, straighten the legs. Fold forward and down. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step back and lower down. Inhale, press up to cobra or upward facing dog. What's cobra? Cobra is this. Upward facing dog is this. Exhale, take it up and back to downward facing dog. Shorten your stance a little bit. Right foot forward, left foot flat, arms come up. Inhale, warrior one. Exhale, the hands down to the floor. Keep looking forward. Step back, lower down. Inhale, press up. Exhale, up and back to down dog. Look forward, left foot forward. Flatten the right foot. Inhale the arms up overhead. Follow the exhale down. Look forward, step back, lower down with control. Inhale to up dog or cobra. Exhale up and back to down dog. Once you're in down dog, a count of 5 or 5 breaths. Legs are straight, thighs are engaged, and you're pushing your hips back just a little bit more. And then bend the knees and look forward. Inhale, feet come forward. Feet are together. Fold and relax. Bend the knees. Inhale, sweep the arms out in front and up overhead. And then exhale, hands to heart center. Good. Got it? Good. You can always, if you're watching this, it'll be posted up on the website tomorrow, so after the live stream. So you can just go back and rewind it 2-3 times. Just sit on the couch and watch it over and over, and then you got it memorized, then you try it. And you can take this anywhere with you, right? I know people say, well, I need to have my DVD, I need to have my phone, and all that. Once you memorize these 2 sun salutations, then you go to Florida on vacation. You can't get to your yoga class. You don't want to watch it on your phone or something, right? But you've got these 2 things memorized. So you just come to your mat, you do your practice, right? Do a bunch of sun salutation A's, do a bunch of sun salutation B's, over and over, and there you go. It's a mini routine you can carry right here with you. Good. So we want to break down a couple of the postures of sun salutation B. So the inhale, the first pose, you're coming into Utkatasana, or fierce pose, or thunderbolt pose. So the knees are bent, the knees are gently squeezing together, the abdominals are engaged, and you're sinking your seat down as you reach the fingers up. So a lot going on there. And then the second pose is inhale, straighten the legs, and exhale, fold forward and down. So you're in that forward bend again. And then inhale, look forward, come halfway up. Exhale, back into high push-up, down through chaturanga, low push-up. And then inhale to upward facing dog. So we talked about upward facing dog before, but we'll talk about it again. Palms of the hands are flat, elbows are unlocked, and perhaps the weight is suspended here, right? You can see that. My legs are straight, my thighs are engaged, tops of the feet on the floor. I'm pressing the hands down into the floor and the feet down into the floor, and then bending back a little bit. This is quite a back bend. And then from here, you're going to come up and back into down dog. So when you get to down dog in sun salutation B, remember to shorten your stance. Your toes come forward a little bit, because next we're going into warrior one. So you look forward, right foot steps forward, left foot flattens. So with the flat feet, now I've got a firm foundation to come up into warrior one, and it's an inhale, right? So from down dog to where I just got right here is just 1/2 of one breath. It's an inhale. And then you follow the exhale down, step back, lower down. Inhale to upward facing dog or cobra, and exhale up and back to down dog. Left side, look forward. So you're inhaling, 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 inhaling into warrior one, and then exhaling, 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 exhaling all the way down. Then inhaling, 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 and then exhaling to down dog. Good. So at this point in time, if you're out of breath, you're running out of gas already, drop to your knees, come into child's pose and relax. Otherwise, stay here just for a couple more seconds. Bend the knees and look forward. Inhale, feet come forward. Feet are together. Fold and relax. Bend the knees. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, straighten the legs. Hands come down to heart center. Good. So now, we're warmed up, right? We're warmed up. We warmed up all kinds of joints and muscles in the body by doing the warm-ups that we did at the beginning of the class, plus 6 sun salutations. So the heart's beating, blood's pumping, we're warmed up. It's ready to get into some yoga poses. So what yoga poses do you want to work on today? Great. So revolved side angle and revolved triangle. So these are kind of twists poses, right? They're twisting poses that are done standing. So let's take a look at them. If you've got a block, you want to have a block handy. I guess it helps out a lot. There's a lot of little cool things you can do with blocks. So I'm going to put the block here. I'm going to separate my feet about hip width apart. And then what I'd like you to do is step your left foot back. So how far? 3 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet, depending on how tall you are. The taller you are, probably the further apart the feet are. And then bend into the front knee, the right knee. So the right foot's out to the right, the left foot's out to the left. We bring the arms up into warrior one. Now, we're going to be here for a while, so engage the left thigh and press the left foot into the floor and begin to bend into that front knee, the right knee. So keep your left thigh engaged, keep bending into your right knee. Now we're going to take it into revolved triangle first. So right hand to the right hip, and then left hand comes down and grabs the block. Place the block just to the inside of your left foot. So if you have wicked long arms, your hand may come flat on the floor, or if you're wicked flexible. But if not, use a block either like this or like this, right? And then you'll try to straighten out that right leg as best you can. Remember the left leg out back. That left thigh is still engaged and that left foot's pressing into the floor. And then stretch the right arm straight up. Now breathe deep. So revolved triangle, we're twisting toward the right hand side. So some little fine-tuning adjustments here. You want to press the ball of that right foot down into the floor and turn the left hip toward the short end of your mat a little bit. And then inhale, come up to standing. Come back into warrior one, so bend into the knee. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, step forward and release. Good. Opposite side. Step the right foot back, bend into the left knee, and inhale the arms up overhead. So we're in warrior one now on the opposite side of the left side. And this may feel quite a bit different depending on how your flexibility is or how the symmetry is in your body with your muscles. So you're going to engage the right thigh, press the right foot into the floor, bend into the left knee. The hips are turning toward the short end of the mat, but they don't have to be squared toward the end of the mat. And then left hand to left hip. Begin to straighten the left leg, bring the right hand down onto the block, and then try to straighten the left leg as best as possible. Keep the right thigh engaged and then stretch the left finger up. So we're revolving or twisting toward the left this time. Press the base of the left big toe down into the floor with a little bit more effort, and then turn the right hip or try to square the right hip toward the short end of your mat. And then release. float back up into Warrior One. With an inhale, arms come up, bend into the left knee. Take a deep breath in, and exhale, step forward. Good. Relax the arms alongside the body and close the eyes. Take a long, slow inhale. Long, slow exhale. Then open the eyes up. So we did revolve triangle, now we're going to do revolve side angle. So it's a fairly similar posture. The major difference is that that front knee is going to be bent and it's going to stay bent instead of straightening out the leg. So I'd like you to step the left leg back again, bend into the right knee, and then check those back foot, those back toes, those left toes are turned forward about 45 degrees. Hips are facing toward the short end of the mat. The right knee's there. Arms come up into Warrior One. Now bring the hands down to heart center and begin to fold at the waist, at the hips. And when you get down, you'll begin to turn toward the right. Try to get your left elbow toward the outside of the right knee. And then look down at the floor to help with balance, and then twist and turn toward the right. So at this point, like me, you've probably forgotten about your left leg. That's your anchor in this pose. So re-engage your left thigh and press that left foot back down into the floor as you twist toward the right. Now if you can arch your back a little bit, go ahead, you'll take a little bit more stretch. If you want to take this a little bit further, consider pressing the left arm into the right knee and thigh gently, and press the right knee and thigh back into the left arm with the same amount of effort. Breathe deep. And inhale back up to standing. And pause here for an extra breath. Inhale. Exhale, step forward and release. Opposite side, step the right foot back. Bend into the left knee. Arms come up for Warrior One. So feel the strong foundation that you've created for the pose here. Right thighs engaged. Hands come down to heart center. Fold at the waist and then right elbow to the outside of the left knee, and you'll begin to twist and turn toward the left this time as you continue to press back into the right foot, the back foot. Now if you need a little bit of an extra stretch, keep the right thigh engaged, keep the right foot flat, bend into your left knee a little bit, and then try to twist a little bit more. Remember what the options were on the other side. Gently pressing the right arm into the left knee and thigh, and pressing the left knee and thigh back into the right arm. Same amount of effort. And inhale. Come back up to Warrior One. And then step forward and release. Close the eyes for a moment and concentrate on your breath. Then go ahead and open the eyes. Now, take a wider stance on your mat, so you're facing the long end of the mat. Have your feet nice and wide, and make the feet so they're parallel, the toes point straight ahead, or maybe even in a little bit. I'm going to use my block again. The block's going to go, so when I'm folding forward at the hips, the block's going to go right underneath my face, and I'm going to place both hands on it at first. Go ahead and relax your head. And then look at your knees. No bend in the knees. You want to have the legs nice and strong, nice and straight. Shift some of the weight of your hips forward a little bit. And then we'll take this into a twist. So place the left hand on the block. Stretch the right fingers up toward the ceiling. So again, if it's doable for you to put your left fist on the floor like this, or your left hand flat on the floor, and still have the legs straight, you're welcome to do that also. And then we're going to switch. The right arm comes down and left arm comes up.
maintaining that nice firm foundation in the lower half of the body, so the legs are straight, thighs are engaged, and the bottom half of the body is nice and strong and solid. And then drop the left hand down. So the hands are either on the floor, flat on the floor, or they're on a block. Relax the head and breathe deep. And then bring the hands to the hips. Inhale, come up to standing.
And exhale here. Good. Now, if you want, you can hop the feet back together. There you go. You ever take a yoga class like that where they're hopping their feet apart and back together and back apart and back together? It's tough. Yeah, I've done it a couple times. So next, we looked at Warrior 1 in the context of Sun Salutation B, and then we looked at Warrior 1 in the context of doing revolved triangle and revolved side angle. Now we'll take a look at Warrior 1 in relation to Warrior 3. So we're going to go from Warrior 1 to Warrior 3 and then back into Warrior 1. That's been my thing lately, right? I've got all of these sequences that I've been working with where we're moving from Warrior 1 to different postures and then back into Warrior 1. And we've been focusing on the transition between the two. So as I'm leaving Warrior 1, moving into Warrior 3, the time I leave Warrior 1 to the time I get into Warrior 3, that's what I'm focused on. Not what my Warrior 3 is going to look like, not what my Warrior 1 looks like, but the time in between the two places, right? And then when I'm coming out of Warrior 3 back into Warrior 1, that the transition is what I'm thinking about. So let's take a look at it here. Feet are hip width apart. Step the left foot back, bend into the right knee. Now we're in Warrior 1. So we're going to go from Warrior 1 to Warrior 3. So I'd like you, if you can, if it's comfortable, interlace your fingers like this. Right? Arms are alongside the ears here. And then you lean the upper body forward. Look down at the foot that's on the floor, the right foot. Lean your weight into the right foot, and then float the left leg up off the ground into Warrior 3. The hips are squaring toward the floor, so in this case my left hip is turning down toward the floor. The right leg extends out straight, and I'm reaching out through those, the left leg straight out back, pointing back through the left toes, and then I'm stretching through the index fingers in the opposite direction. When I'm ready to come back into Warrior 1, think about the transition. The left foot's going to float right back down to where it was, and the arms come back up overhead. Good? Take a deep breath in. Exhale, step forward, and release. Right foot steps back. Inhale the arms up overhead. Into Warrior 1. Interlace the fingers like we did on the other side. And then we move into Warrior 3. So remember the transition. It starts here. Lean, look, balance, float, point, and point. Right hip's turning down toward the floor. When we're ready to come back into Warrior 1, float, float, float the right foot back down. Float the arms up overhead. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, step forward, and release. Go ahead and close your eyes again. Concentrate on your breath for a moment. And then open the eyes up. I say let's try it one more time. When we get back into Warrior 1, so Warrior 1, Warrior 3, Warrior 1, when we get back into that second Warrior 1, we'll hold that pose just for a couple more breaths and see if we can squeeze just a little bit more out of it. And I'll tell you how to do that, but you need to listen closely. Okay? Feet are hip width apart. Left foot steps back. Arms come up. Warrior 1. Interlace the fingers. Warrior 1 to Warrior 3. Arms come forward, weight comes forward, left leg floats up for the balance. float the arms back up overhead. We're back in Warrior One. Now from here, if you have zero back issues, you can work into this little bit of a deeper Warrior One. Tighten up the left thigh and press down into the left foot, and then bend into the front knee a little bit more. And then arch your back a little bit. As long as you can keep squeezing that left thigh and keep that left foot pressed into the floor, and your back feels okay, arch back a little bit, or reach the arms up. Breathe deep. If you can't breathe deep or breathe comfortably, you need to come out of the pose a little bit so you can. Inhale here. Exhale, slowly release, and step forward. Deep inhale. Deep exhale. Left side, last time. Float the right foot back. Arms come up. Warrior One. Interlace the fingers as we get ready to go and float into Warrior Three. Body, arms come forward, weight comes forward, float the right leg up. Warrior Three. Float the right foot back, arms come up, back into Warrior One. So we can take that a little bit deeper example. Right thigh stays engaged, right foot presses into the floor, bend into the left knee, arch the back a little bit, and then lengthen through the arms. And then find your breath. Deep breath in. Exhale, step forward, arms relax alongside the body. Go ahead and close the eyes and concentrate on your breath for a moment. And then open the eyes up. So now we'll make our way down onto the floor and work with some seated postures. And I know sometimes, quite a bit of the population I work with, which is mostly baby boomers, have knee issues or hip issues. So I thought I'd try to address some of those today, and some stuff you can do, but still have an effective practice or have get the benefit out of the pose. So go ahead and come down to seated. And then the first thing we'll work with is seated head to knee pose. It's called Janu Shirshasana A, if you're interested in the fancy schmancy Sanskrit. I'm going to begin with the left leg straight, and the right foot, the sole of the right foot comes into the inner left thigh. So if I've got a knee issue or a hip issue in the right leg, I can use my trusty block again as a little bit of a prop to rest that on, right? Because if it's hanging down here and it's pulling, especially one of the adductors, right, on the inside of the leg is pulling on the inside of the knee, that might be pretty uncomfortable. And I'm going to grab my strap, grab a hold of the left foot like this, sit nice and tall. So make your left leg nice and straight, and then push your seat down into the floor and sit up tall, so you begin to take that roundness out of your back. And this is relaxing here. Now if you don't have a knee issue or a hip issue on the right hand side, this is moving toward the floor, right? But I'm going to show it tonight with this. And then the focus here, well, there's two focuses here. The left leg is straight, so I'm stretching the muscles on the back of the left leg. And then I'm going to try to stay long through the spine and hinge at the hip, so the back is going to stretch too. So what I want to do is I want to add to this. I want to get even more benefit out of this pose, squeeze some more out of it. I'm going to try to keep the left thigh engaged, so tighten up your left thigh muscle. Keep that left heel on the floor. I see that coming up like that. You've got to push it back down. And then tighten up your abdominals, and then you just hinge at the hips a little bit more. You gently pull yourself forward a little bit deeper into the pose. And then we're going to release.
So I'm going to take the block over to the other side. Right leg's going to be straight. Sole of the left foot's going to come in to the inside of the right thigh. That block is going to support my left knee and my left hip. I'm going to grab the right foot. Once I get settled here, straighten out the right leg. Inhale and sit up tall. And then exhale, I'm going to try to hinge forward a little bit. So after I've taken about 5 or 6 breaths here, I'm thinking, this doesn't feel too bad. I might want to take it a little bit deeper. So engage your right thigh, press your seat down and sit up a little bit taller. Keep the right thigh engaged and engage the abdominals, and now hinge a little bit more. Pull yourself a little bit closer to that right foot, but don't overdo it. And then I'm going to release here. Put that strap aside. Shake out the legs out in front. So another good stretch here for the adductors, which can affect the hips in a positive way, is Baddha Konasana, or bound angle pose. I think some places probably call it butterfly or something because, I don't know, back a while ago you see people go like this, and that's how they would stretch, right? But that's not how we're recommending it. You're going to try to interlace your fingers on the outside edge of the feet, pull the heels in as close as you can, and then use the leverage that you have of the hands against the feet to pull the upper body up, right? So pulling the hands into the feet, but I'm pushing the feet into the hands, lengthening up through the spine, back is a little bit straighter, I'm a little bit taller, and then gently I'm going to press the knees toward the floor. Breathe deep. Now let everything relax for a moment. Let's squeeze a little bit more out of this pose tonight and get our full money's worth out of this. Okay? Take the hands to the ankles, lean forward. So your forearms now are going to touch the inside of the legs there. Lean the upper body forward too. Instead of pressing your knees down toward the floor now, gently, gently, gently press them up away from the floor, but hold and resist back with the arms and the body, the upper body weight. So my knees and legs are trying to push up like this, but the arms and upper body are pushing down at the same time, and only use about 20% of your effort here. And then slowly release and take the first form of the pose again. Interlace the fingers on the outside edge of the feet, sit up wicked tall, and then press the knees down toward the floor. Whoa, look at that. They went down a little bit closer to the floor just by doing that little special little trick there, right? Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Knees are moving down now toward the floor. Let's try it again. Grab the ankles, lean forward. Instead of pressing the knees down, press the knees up. Press back down with the weight of the upper body and the arms. Nice and easy. Let everything relax. Take the original form of the pose again, interlacing the fingers. Sit up a little bit taller. Now before you press the knees toward the floor this time, consider pressing the heels into each other. Then press the knees down. Squeeze just a little bit more out of it. And now let everything relax. Good. You can shake it out now like the old days, right? Good. Now take your feet and just kind of move them out a couple inches. And if that feels okay, just pause right there. Now I'm going to give you permission to round your back. Inhale, sit up tall. And as you exhale, round your back and try to bring your nose out towards your toes. And when you do this, what I'd like you to do is bend your elbows, internally rotate the arms, and try to bring the elbows or draw the elbows forward and out in front of the shins, like this. You want a side view of that? Someday we'll have 2 cameras and you'll be able just to flick a switch, or I'll be able to flick a switch and you can get a look at what that looks like there. Now inhale, look forward. As you exhale, keep the feet together, but bring them out much further so the legs form a diamond shape. A Boston Red Sox baseball diamond shape, just like that. Now you can take the hands to the ankles or slide the hands underneath the ankles and look at your heels. And if everything feels okay, you'll gently, gently, gently try to draw the head toward the heels. Nice and easy. Tighten up the abdominals. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, come up. Next, I'd like you to come over onto the hands and knees. And we'll try hero pose. So your knees are together and your toes are together, or your feet are together, and you're just going to ease yourself back like this into hero pose. Get a better look here. Now, if this is uncomfortable right off the bat, you know the rule, right? If something doesn't feel right, if something hurts, you stop right away and come out of it, right? Don't let anybody force you into doing a yoga pose, whether it's here online or when you're in a yoga class. So if this wasn't comfortable, I would just come like this. If that wasn't comfortable, I'd come into child's pose. If that wasn't comfortable, I guess I'd just punch out and have a seat, right? Just honor your body. And then next we're going to end with a series of twists. Pretty easy twists. Well, yeah, I'll make them easy. If you want to make them more challenging, you can do that. Take your right foot and tuck it in like this, and then take the left leg around back like this, so that your right sole of your right foot meets your left knee and thigh. And then you're going to make your way around to the right hand side. Try to have your right hand flat on the floor as close to your hips as you can, and then press it into the floor. If your arms aren't long enough, grab your block and put it on the block. So see, I'm nice and upright here. And then, as I inhale and lengthen through the spine, I'm going to twist and turn toward the right, but stay nice and upright. Maybe my left hand comes over to the right knee and thigh. So I'm always thinking about lengthening here, and then the twisting part toward the right is secondary. And then if I want to add something in here, if I want to add a third thing in, right, I'm lengthening, I'm twisting toward the right. So the third thing would be just a gentle arching of the back, as long as that feels okay. So I'm just going to try to arch the back a little bit, find my breath. And then I'm going to begin to release back toward center. So place one hand on either side of your right knee. Good. Next, if you can, drop down to your elbows. So one elbow is on the floor to either side of that right knee. And then relax your head. And then try to let everything else in the body relax and breathe deep, deep, deep. If you find, if you're doing the class with me and you find a pose that you really, really like, you're like, oh my God, this feels really good, I'm really feeling a stretch here, then memorize it, right? Hit pause right now and just do it. Do it for 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes if it feels good. And then walk your hands back in. Next, we're going to go into a twist from here. And I'll show the easy or to medium way to do it, and then I'll show a more challenging way to do it. So I'm going to grab my left foot, swing it around front. Go ahead and do that. Just when it gets toward the right knee, you'll line up those two joints, the left ankle and the right knee right here. Right hand comes to the left knee and thigh, the left hand comes out back. Inhale, remember, sit up tall. Exhale, twist. Good. So if this is, you're like, oh yeah, this is wicked easy, right? I'm gonna fall asleep, I'm bored, right? So to make it more interesting, take the left ankle and bring it around to the opposite side of that right knee. And keep those two joints pretty close together. And then you begin to twist toward the left-hand side again. Right? Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, twist and turn. You have further to go? Take the right arm to the outside of the left knee. Remember, we did this in the standing one as one of the options. Revolved side angle we did, right? So I'm gently pressing the right arm into the left knee and pressing the left knee back into the right arm with the same amount of effort, making use of oppositional forces here. And then release. And then shake the legs out. We'll try that stuff on the other side. Tuck your left foot in, draw your right leg around back. Sole the left foot, right knee and thigh together. Walk your hands around so you get the left hand flat on the floor. Inhale, lengthen up first. Exhale, twist and turn toward the left hand side. Everything feels okay here. You try to arch the back just a little. You'll feel it in those nooks and crannies where it hasn't been stretched in decades. You'll be like, ooh, ah, ee, ah. So try to find it. Try to relax for a moment. Try to breathe a little bit deeper. And then if everything feels okay, inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, twist a little bit more. Try to arch a little bit more. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Begin to make your way back towards center. When you get to that left leg, drop the elbows and forearms down. Relax the head and deepen the breath. Then begin to walk the hands back in. Now we're going to work into that twist. So find your right foot. Begin to bring it out in front. Place it right next to the left knee, either here, remember, or here, all the way around. And then left hand comes to the right knee, here, or here. Right arm comes out back. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist toward the right. If you have further to go, left elbow or left arm to the outside of the right knee, and then press those two into each other. Press the arm into the right knee and thigh, press the right knee and thigh back into the arm as you twist the upper part of the body a little bit further toward the right. Slowly release and shake your legs out. All right, we're going to end with, well, actually going to do together. So I'm going to turn down the music a little bit here so you can hear my breathing. So go like that a little bit. Get ready to breathe deep. And we're going to do some core work, and we're going to breathe deep. So come to your mat like this and bring your feet together. Bend your knees, and your knees are together, right? And we'll do this twice. So if you come up the first time and your knees are flopping out to the side, have your strap ready and I'll show you how to fix that. Arms are going to come up. So we're going to work with boat pose. We're going to elevate the feet up off the ground. We're going to try to arch the back a little bit to keep the back straight. And then we're going to do a supercharged breathing technique. So the breathing technique, the best way I can describe it, it's like a dog sniffing relentlessly. So I'll do it and then you join in. So, and I know I did not just make this up. I learned it from my oldest teacher, right? Knees together, arms come up. You're going to float the heels up off the ground, point the toes, try to arch the back, and then you're going to breathe like this, rapidly. Let me hear you. Release. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Good. So if you had trouble keeping your knees together, open up that loop at the end of your strap and go ahead and loop the loop around just above the knees. Tighten it up. Good. Round two. Arms come up, feet come up, try to arch the back, heart moves forward, try to straighten the legs and point the toes, and then begin. Try to breathe louder than me. Five, four, three, two, one. Good. Release that strap. Now, if you've got a block, grab your block, sit up on top of your block. Sit cross-legged. Try to get one ankle in front of the other, roll forward. Sit up nice and tall. Just take your hands and connect the tips of your index fingers with the tips of your thumbs like this. Okay? And then just rest the hands on the knees. Sit up tall and close the eyes. Take a long, slow inhale. And a long, slow exhale. And again, long, slow inhale. Long, slow exhale. One more time. Long, slow inhale. Long, slow exhale. Little by little, allow your body to move towards stillness. So over time, there's less and less fidgeting. We're able to sit quietly, comfortably, for short periods of time without moving. Allow your body to relax here in this seated position. Shift your attention now from your body to your breath, and without changing your breath, without deepening your breath or trying to control your breath, just see if you can follow your breath as it moves into your body and as it moves out of your body. Allow the breath to flow in and out of the body smoothly and comfortably, naturally. Keep your mind's attention on your breath. then open your eyes and bring your hands to heart center, and we'll say namaste, namaste, namaste. I'm David Breen from Sharing Yoga and RealLiveYoga.com. You are really going to want to tune in next Monday night. If you're watching this and it's March 13th, 2017, you're really going to want to tune in next Monday night. We're going to attempt to take the show on the road, so I'll be live streaming a class from somewhere far away as an experiment, and we'll see how it works. So once again, thank you so much for sharing your yoga practice and your time with me, and I'll see you next time.